Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing a dark academia type build located in Britechester. This was a part of the Better Together collab that's hosted by Sophie the Sim, Plummy Sims, and Simmer Kai. So for my lot, I picked Britechester, and we could only use base game plus the pack for the world that we chose. So I got to use Discover University and base game, as well as the free holiday kit because everybody has it. So I didn't use it too much. I also limited it in my Strangerville build because I am doing a little thing for myself where I build with only base game and one pack. So I couldn't tell if the holiday kit fits into that for me because I'm gonna probably not use it when I do my videos. With this one I did do it, and I'll probably count this as my Discover University builds. I had to build this. Well, the shape I guess I built one time. The interior I built and then I hate it, so I demolished everything and I redid it. But the collab was really fun. It was really challenging. There is like over 100 people in the collab because it is a giant save file with every world complete. Every single lot is only like base game and one pack, so if people only have one pack, they're able to like download just the worlds that they have for it. So it's pretty cool. And for this like shape of it, I was really inspired by the surrounding builds around this lot, and I didn't want to copy it exactly. I did two builds for this collab, so I did a Strangerville one and this one was my second one that I did, which is why there's a recording, because I started after I started my YouTube channel. But I saw other people were doing a similar thing where they were like looking at the environment, and I didn't want like my builds to be like too similar to other people's builds, so I just like loosely based it off of one of the builds like directly next to it. I made it a lot smaller because I think a really big build scared me because at the time I was really burnt out too. So I did the Strangerville one, which I demolished multiple times too, and I got it to a place where I really liked it, but then I started doing the interior and it was way too big. It was like 3 floors plus a giant attic, so I guess it's 4 floors, and I had to demolish it and restart, and I'm glad I did. So this one I also had to restart, but only the interior. The exterior I do like. It was almost a little too small because it is university housing, and it only has 2 bedrooms, so in my head I was like, okay, well, maybe this is where like the rich student lives, and they invited their friends and like their uncle owns this building or something. I don't know, something weird like that. But yeah, so like landscaping with Discover University and base game only is really easy, because like I already like landscaping with just base game, but Discover University adds everything that I'm kind of like I miss when I'm doing a base game build, which is the wall ivy and stuff. Like my favorite piece is already on the build. It's like the perfect wall ivy. I remember when this pack was released and I was just like, oh my god, this is exactly what I need. Because like we have other wall ivy, but like this one feels like so delicate and cute. Like, I don't know, it's like each individual leaf and it's kind of messy, where I used to rely on the vampire one all the time, but it's like that one's very full, where this one is just like little pieces that climb up the wall, and sometimes it's hard to work with. So like this build I had to size down a lot of the wall ivy for that reason, but it worked out. I like the amount of ivy that I put on this build. I was considering that when I was doing it. I didn't want to go like overboard with it, because if people are going to play in this lot, it needs to be functional and not super laggy. I did use a lot of plants. Like most of this is what I used. I also went back and I put a bunch of lavender around the house. So I'm using less landscaping than I normally do. Like, if you look at my builds, they're covered in different plants. Like, my last build was a wooden castle that I completely covered in different branches and stuff, which I'm sure would be super laggy on, like, a not, like, high-end gaming PC, because sometimes it's laggy on mine and I have, like, a gaming PC, so I wanted to keep it as simple as I could. At first, I wasn't going to do a lot of clutter inside, but that's my favorite part of interiors, so I did end up doing that. This floor plan, by the way, took me forever. This is after I demolished everything inside because I didn't like it, because the floor plan originally, it felt like it was just one big huge hallway leading to smaller rooms, and I didn't like that. So when I was going into this, I was like, okay, I need to just keep the hallway super small and simple, because I was struggling with filling the space up, which is what I was noticing, because I was like, base game and Discover University, like, I don't know what I could possibly clutter with now. Like, I had just finished doing a couple base game builds, so I was already kind of, like, tired of doing just base game. And Discover University, it adds, like, a lot of more, like, modern type decor items, which this build wasn't that at all. So I used mostly base game for cluttering. Like, when I'm watching, I'll see if there is any Discover University clutter in here. There's not a lot. I know I used some paintings and stuff, but yeah, see, this is the hallway. This was, I think, the hardest part for me, was trying to figure out, like, how I was going to size this, and if I was going to have a bedroom downstairs too, because there's 2 bedrooms upstairs, and I really wanted another one, but I ended up giving up, because I was like, well, if I have a bedroom downstairs, and I need to make sure that there's a bathroom that fits. But once I got a bathroom that fit, I was like, this bedroom's very tiny, and it would have, like, only a couple very small windows. And so I was like, and also the bedroom, see, you would see it right there. It was that, like, piece in the left by the stairs. It also is, like, right by the front door, which, like, I was like, no, I don't want a bedroom there. So I end up demolishing that, and it turns into a little piano room, which I did have in my original build. It was one of the pieces that took up the entire hallway. You see how tiny the build is. The hallway was almost half of that downstairs. I don't know what I was thinking, but I'm really glad that I changed it, like, completely. Yeah, I just try and remind myself that if I don't like a build, I can just go back and fix it, and I don't need to, like, commit to the exact shape. I could drag walls out, which I always forget I could do. And I'm trying to remind myself when I'm building, like, hey, if this room's too small, you could just drag out a wall. It won't change the exterior too much. So I did do that with this. I dragged out one of the walls for the bedroom, which I think is the only reason why I could fit 4 beds in here. Originally it would have been like 3, which is ridiculous. I really wish I could have gotten another bedroom in. Like, the lot is a decent size. I could have fit more, and I was, like, going to make it a little bit bigger, but I didn't like how it looked on the outside. I feel like it threw everything off balance, because I landscaped and I put all the windows for this very specific size. So sometimes that also is hard when you're doing it. It's just like to change it and it look good. And I'm sure it would have looked fine, but when you're doing your own build, you tend to be more critical of it. So yeah, I have, like, I think I used all the wallpaper and stuff is mostly from base game. I took some of the exterior bricks and stuff and brought it inside, mostly for the bathroom and the kitchen downstairs. And the kitchen feels a little bit too bright, but I just accepted it as that. Like, I have never really done a Dark Academia style build before. I'm not too familiar with it, so I, like, looked up some pictures, and this, like, hallway area is what I kind of imagined. I wanted a lot of tall bookcases and a lot of fancy stuff and, like, dimly lit. I love those curtains that I just placed down. I never use these curtains. I never make very fancy builds, so I'm always using, like, the like cheaper curtains from base game. I think these are one of the more expensive ones, and they look expensive. They're very fancy, and I think they fit in perfectly with the style. I use them in almost every single room, and I'm paying attention of what clutter I use to see if there's any Discover University. I think so far this is all base game. I believe the only Discover University clutter I end up using are maybe some books and stuff. There isn't a lot. Like, I just looked at the menu while I was placing that. I saw some, like, textbook type clutter, which is unfortunate. I think that this pack is definitely really good for exterior builds. I always kind of thought of it that way because I love the windows and doors and the stone wall and stuff. So, like, the interior, at least base game, works really well with it, which it's like, it worked out fine. Those bookcases are Discover University though, so at least like the bulk of like the space is Discover University. I wanted to showcase the pack in this build too and not just rely on base game, so I was trying really hard. Like, I put the ping pong table in the backyard. I was considering adding a bar in the backyard too, but I forgot, and then I had to upload my tray files, so I was like, let me just upload the tray file. I'm not going to change anything. I did put, like, different food items and stuff in here and glasses. I end up removing them for this just because they end up becoming stinky very quickly, and I didn't want to upload a build with a bunch of stinky stuff in it. So I think I left some. There's like a few things. I did the same with my Strangerville one as well, where like most of my builds, if you like download from the gallery, odds are your sim's gonna have to clean up all of the stuff, which is sad because there's like mixing bowls and stuff I like to place in glasses like on shelves, but they like are registered as used dishes and stuff, so they end up going bad, which I wish we just had some more items that you could use decor in that way. And maybe there are certain cups that don't go like bad, because I remember doing some other builds and like I always skip a bunch of days and times because I'm trying to like fix the lighting to take pictures, and I feel like I've noticed some of them don't do that, so I'm gonna have to like maybe do an experiment and see so I know which ones I can use. But I talked completely over me placing, like, making that frame, because I like the Discover University, like, artwork that was added, but the frame is kind of just, like, a basic one. It looks like that clown painting one, and I wanted something to be more of, like, a centerpiece or something. And so I used, like, sized down walls, either from base game or Discover University. I didn't notice which ones they were, but that's what I did to make a frame, because I had seen a reel where people make frames out of mirrors, but it has to be very specific size, and so the painting I had, it wasn't going to work for that. I had kind of looked through to see if it was a possibility, but it wasn't, so I just, like, took some little fence pieces, which I like that I'm doing these pack limited builds more often, because I am challenging myself to like be creative with items because I always like admire people who just like make custom furniture out of other items in the game, and I'm always like, I don't have the patience or the creativity. So like the more I do them, the more I'm like figuring some things out. I think I did like a few limited pack builds already, and so now I'm only just experimenting with it. But it's been fun. Like, I really like the clutter on this table. I believe that lamp, that's one of my favorite lamps in the game, is from Discover University. And I wish that I could have used the cottage living typewriter, but I can't. So I used that like typewriter that's in the glass, which I think I might start using when I want that sort of look in my builds, but it's a pack limited one. It's not functional because you can't use it, but I made sure that there was computers in other parts of the house, where like most of these items, like all the important items, are functional. It had to be functional for the thing, so I play test and I had to move some stuff around, so I'm pretty sure the coffee table wasn't. Also, by the way, the coffee table clutter keeps getting deleted every time I go in, and so it looks nothing like that in the save now. When I was building this, that like clay man head kept getting deleted too, and I didn't understand why, but it stayed there, like, now, though, but for some reason the coffee table is deleting stuff. I'm not sure what causes that. I know that I've had problems with terrain paint being deleted, which has been a problem for a long time, but I never noticed the, like, items getting deleted. Oh, and I'm placing cabinets to act as, like, some sort of storage area with a table, which I'm, like, also happy about. That's also showing that I'm starting to try to think creatively when I'm doing stuff, because I never get to use those cabinets, and I really like them placed on the floor like that. I've never done that before, so I throw some, like, books on top of it, because I tried a lot of different things for this space. There's a lot of items squished into one area. I think that this is the room that I spent the most time on, because I feel like it was the most important room. The other ones, I didn't want too much stuff in the way. But yeah, like, I love those coffee cups on the table, but they get deleted. I'm gonna have to place them back, at least for pictures. I think I would have deleted them anyway, because those also go bad and they, like, smell. But yeah, I placed a coin on that shelf because I was thinking about the clutter kit and how we have the bowl of coins. And I remember seeing someone say that they make base game ones already, and so I didn't want to make one. So I just placed one single coin. That was my thought process. But yeah, the bathroom, I keep the bathrooms pretty simple. I don't add too much. I really enjoy cluttering bathrooms with the new bathroom clutter kit, but I can't use that, so I just do the basic stuff that you would want in a bathroom, I'm pretty sure. Like, every time I do a base game build, I use that cabinet, which I always forget about. So that's the good thing about doing pack limited builds, is that you get to use items that you usually forget about because they get lost in the, like, all of the pack items, because I have all the build packs, so it's just like a lot of scrolling. You miss a lot of stuff, so these ones really help me to discover new items that I really love and I think work really well in my builds. I've noticed that when I do non-pack limited builds, I only use, like, I use almost every pack, but some of the packs I only use, like, 2 items from. So if I could, like, cut back on that, I've been, like, looking into it every time I do it. I look to see what items I even use and if I can change them. But most of the time I don't. If I'm just building for fun, I'm like, this is fine. I'm just taking some pictures. It's okay. But I would like to, like, not have a million packs every time I upload to the gallery so that people could actually, like, use my builds if they want to. So that's what I've been focusing on. I almost spilt my tea everywhere because I was trying not to make a loud sound again when I place it down. But yeah, this kitchen, it felt a lot lighter than the rest of the rooms, and, like, I guess I could just pretend it's because there's those 2 large windows and, like, one of them doesn't have curtains, so everything feels a lot lighter and sunnier in there. But yeah, the cabinets, they are maybe too light for this build, but I didn't want to change them because, like, I was struggling to find tiles in here, and I ended up using, like, 2 different colors to make, like, a checkerboard pattern. I believe, yeah, the pizza and that mixing bowl were the first things to get deleted. I'm hoping to just put them back for pictures and stuff. If I remember, I could have even taken pictures already. I'm not even 100% sure. I'll have to look back and see, but yeah, there's just... I've been using fossils now. I really feel like the fossils work, though. Because I like doing very, like, witchy inspired builds, like run down ones too. And I think that the fossils would add, like, a good, like, scary element because there's, like, that random skull. I'm gonna have to do that in my future builds for that. So, and, like, my pack limited, like, series, it's to see how well I could build in my style using the pack, where I feel like this, it's similar enough to my style, I think, for this sort of build. Not every build has to be magical, so I think it's fine. I usually, like, I think I normally built sort of similar to this, but just less clutter. Like, when I was building, like, a year ago, I didn't like interiors. It took me forever, and then once I do one interior, I'd be burnt out and then I'd have to stop building. So I've been like knowing when I need to like focus more on exterior than an interior, which is super important, especially if you're doing like a video once a week. You kind of need to pace yourself and not like burn out super fast. Like this one, it has been like edited and done for a while, and I'm already thinking about my next video, and I don't know what I'm gonna build yet, so we'll see. I'm really happy with how these bedrooms turned out. I did them almost pretty similarly. I used that dining table and that dresser, and the dresser is not functional, but the table is, and because the build had to be functional, I put another dresser in so that it was like not an important thing. So yeah, that's what I ended up doing. And I put that giant plant on there too, which I think was like it took up a lot of space, which is good because I'm still looking around for any Discover University clutter. There's not much. I use the lamps a lot, which I think is the best part of the like items for it. I really love the large objects, so the tables, the chairs are really good and stuff. So it ended up working out really nicely. I do pretty much the same thing in this room. I think I make this one almost like an art student's room. The other one I didn't really have anything in mind, but when I first built this, I had one of them was an art student anyway, so I was like, okay, let me add that back in. So I put like the drawings on the wall and stuff. I have some clown statues in the room if anyone wants to be scared at night. That's my favorite base game rug. I use it pretty often because there's not like a lot of rugs. The rugs might be one of the hardest parts of building without a lot of packs because there isn't a lot of rugs in the game. So anytime a rug is added to a new pack, I get really excited, and then that's all I use. So ever since the werewolves rug came out, that's all I've been using. I don't even really like a lot of the bathtub items in just base game and stuff too. I only use vampire stuff, so it's always hard. And I was considering just doing one bathtub, but I wanted a shower because it's like it's faster when you're doing gameplay. But yeah, I do a little party room up here. I end up adding a TV later on, but it's not recorded because I realized that when I was doing my last voiceover, I was like, I need to have a TV in this build. But yeah, that's the whole build. Thank you for watching, and you could find me on Instagram. I'll have all of the other collab stuff up there too, so if you want to see my Strangerville build, that's where you could find it. I'll have shorts on this channel of the Strangerville one. I really love that build. I put a lot of effort into it. I put a lot of effort into this one too though. So yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.